You're now listening to the Sacred Soul Podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. I'm so excited for you to be here today. I am excited to dive into a topic that I feel is really relatable to all of us that are watching this. So grab your popcorn, grab your blankie, come back, because we're going to be talking about insecurities. I have a really strong relationship with insecurities because I have a lot of them. And I think that there's a power in actually recognizing that you have insecurities. And then if you can build a relationship with that, those parts of yourself that feel like you lack confidence or that you lack talent or worthiness or safety or whatever it is that the insecurity is coming up to show you. I feel like if you can build a bond with that and have some sort of a reciprocity, this back and forth of I see you, I want to help you, I want to heal you, you really can cultivate a sense of power that you didn't have before that helps you actually move forward alongside those insecurities in a way that they're not so daunting in your life that you don't feel like you're literally drowning in them. I feel like I have a lot of insecurities even to this day where I notice for myself that the insecurity actually comes up for me a lot through anger and irritability. I'll wake up and I'll find myself just being in a bad mood and I don't know why until I'm present with myself. I sit and I think to myself, why am I being a bitch today? Like, why do I feel like I'm being so rude today? And when I sit with myself, I actually recognize that it's because I feel ugly today. And so I'm kind of upset that I don't look the way that I wanted to or expected to, or maybe I'm feeling like I don't have a lot of confidence today in my talents or abilities or gifts, right? A lot of this shows up for me where I'm about to go into a mediumship reading and I'm feeling like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna do good. I start to have my limiting beliefs coming in and like talking to me. And so my best way to move through that is to just have that insecurity sit next to me and embody courage to do the reading anyways. That's why people say nowadays, like, if you're scared, do it scared. Whatever you feel like you're not gonna be good at or you have fear around success, do it anyways. Do it scared, do it insecure, because you're actively in that moment teaching your body that you are safe. You're mothering that insecurity through action, literally in that moment teaching it like, hey, if I'm feeling like I'm not feeling confident today or I'm ugly today or I'm not gonna be received well today, do it anyways. And you start to alchemize that feeling of lack and you start to realize that you are worthy to be seen, even if you don't feel like you're, your hottest self that day or your most confident self that day. You still have a divine purpose and worthiness and deservingness to be seen and received by people, right? Like by your community, by your family, by your friends, by your partner, whoever it is that is going to be sharing that space with you. I think that first we have to consent to share space with ourselves. A lot of the times we show up blocked. And it's because in order to protect ourselves and protecting our ego, we become defensive when we're insecure because we're trying to protect ourselves. And that recluses your energy. You close off. And I feel like a lot of us, I can only speak for myself. So I'm just gonna speak for myself. And if you resonate, you can let me know in the comments. Whenever I feel insecure, I immediately get into a bad mood. I get really bitchy. I don't wanna talk to people. I just get into this vibe where I'm like, I don't wanna be around people. And I isolate myself. I literally don't feel like I wanna be around other people if I'm not actively happy because I don't feel worthy of being in that space or sharing energy because I literally feel like I'm gonna kill the vibe or I'm gonna taint the energy, I'm gonna kill, ruin people's mood. It's just funny because we heal together. We heal as a collective. That is literally why we have relationships. We don't just have relationships to fucking make babies. We have them to heal with each other, to grow with each other, to be a mirror, to teach each other deeper things about ourselves that we can take with us moving forward so that we can evolve as individuals and as souls, as spirits. We strip ourselves of that opportunity to learn and grow when we recluse the energy because we don't feel worthy because we're sad or we're grieving or we're in a bad mood or we feel insecure. Our insecurities, our sadness, our lack is not inferior to love. It's not inferior to happiness, to comfort, to healing. I remember this day, okay, it's funny because I'm trying to think about moments where I've been insecure and all of these moments pop up for me, which is funny because I feel like I've had so many moments recently where I've been really insecure. And I'll tell you an experience that I had recently. I was in a bad mood. because I was feeling insecure about my mediumship. For me, my insecurities show up a lot in the way that I show up as a medium. Am I going to be able to bring through accurate information? Is the client going to be happy? I worry so much about validation in a reading because we need that as mediums to know that we're on the right track, that we're bringing through actual information from the spirit communicator. I just put a lot of pressure on myself. When you put pressure on yourself, you start to also put pressure on those wounds. You put pressure on those tender spots that are insecure, that don't feel very strong, right? And so that will be actively called forward. You are literally calling forward your insecurities. And sometimes I don't even see that as a bad thing. I feel like if you can call forward your insecurities, you can have that active communication with it to change it, to alchemize it, speak life into yourself, to not feel like you're not in the authority of those emotional experiences. So just last week, I was in a bad mood because I was insecure. I walked into my spirit room and I was feeling super low. I was actually even feeling really sad, just like not feeling like I could show up and be my best self. I walked into this room where I have all of these beautiful plants, and my first thought was, oh fuck, I can't be in here right now. I don't want to be in this room because my energy is gonna literally kill my plants. Because I was in such a badass mood that I thought that my energy would like pour into the soil of these beautiful plants and kill them. And I actually got really sad. I almost like felt bad for myself in a moment. I was like, oh, like I feel this way. I felt so sad for myself, which is kind of like advice if you are being insecure or feeling some type of way. Just feel bad for yourself, and then you actively start to mother yourself. It's like, oh, like I feel ugly today, like let me give myself a hug. It's like a good piece of advice for you to actually be present with that emotion instead of like vilifying yourself and being in a bad mood after that. I felt bad for myself in this moment because I genuinely felt inferior to that of a beautiful plant or a rose or life. And I literally am a being of life. I have the breath of life inside of me, and I can feel all of these things. It's actually a blessing that you're able to feel insecurity. It's a blessing to feel grief. It's a blessing to feel angry, to feel love, because it means that you are alive. It means that you have opportunity, that you have purpose. And so take all of these moments, even when you feel a little bit lower, to be fucking grateful that you even have the breath of life and that you have opportunity to be around beautiful things that show you that even when, like, look at this. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a brown hole where I don't know what happened. I neglected it a little bit, but it's still alive and well. And this is a new baby plant, a baby leaf that just came out. And you can feel the energy of this plant. It's healthy, even if it has a flaw. This plant doesn't give a shit about this little flaw. We focus so much on the things that we find that are wrong with us that we fail to see the fucking beauty of what we are and the appreciation for our existence. And so I had this realization here, this awakening of like, wow, even in my bad mood, even in my grief, even in my anger, even in my not feeling good about myself, I'm still worthy for people to receive that. I am still worthy to be around people that, I'm gonna hang out with that day, or even my own clients. Like, I am worthy to share that space because together we heal. I feel like just being around these plants is like so healing because it's giving me energy. It's a shared experience. We can learn so much from the things around us, from nature around us. And with that, I think that also we as a society are taught to punish ourselves for being human, for making mistakes, for not meeting our very high expectations of being perfect, being good, being successful. We're always trying to meet expectations, even that aren't our own. Like, I feel like we try to meet the expectations of our parents, of our religious, idols, or whoever. And it's really a moment for us to recognize that the same way that we express love is the same way that we express anger. The potential is the same, and there's potential in that to learn, to grow, to understand yourself deeper. I can be in my insecurities and I can fuck with it. Like, I really do accept myself, and I got to this point of acceptance because I just realized that I'm a fucking plant. I'm a plant that has holes, that has a little bit too much sun, a little bit too much water sometimes, but I'm still good because I have my soil, I have my foundation, I have my truth. And you're reminded of that every single day that you can open your eyes and breathe. And so I do fuck with my anger, my insecurities. I can go out into the world and literally just be in my bad mood, and I can sit with myself and be like, damn, okay, I'm in a bad mood. Like, where is this coming from? Like, where is it coming from? What am I actually feeling? And you dig and dig and dig into yourself, and you realize like, oh, it's because I feel like I'm gonna do a bad job in my reading today, or because I feel like I don't like my weight today, or I feel like whatever, right? Whatever the issue is. We always have issues when we wake up in the morning. We have something that we don't like about ourselves or about the day. It's about agreeing to feel those things where it loosens its grip on you. Think about people who punch walls in their house or break things. They're literally physically abusive, verbally abusive when they're angry. And I think when people think like, oh, like express your anger, they immediately go to that. To me, that's not expressing anger. To me, that is expressing malnourishment of an emotion. There's a lack of attention. When we are punching walls and hitting people and yelling at people, screaming at people, that means that we have already neglected ourselves, and that's an after effect. That's a byproduct of neglect, because expression in and of itself is healthy, right? If you express it, it actually calms you down, because the awareness of, wow, what am I feeling? It's almost like equivalent to pouring a nice cold bucket of water over your body, and you can feel centered. You feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more real. Something that my spirit guides have taught me is that you don't have to fake your emotions. You don't have to fake anything. Like, I remember going into readings for mediumship and being like, okay, I'm a bad bitch. Like, I got this, I'm good. I'm gonna like do this thing. And my spirit guides would be like, girl, if you're not confident, you don't have to be confident. You don't have to pretend to be something that you're not, because even if you're pretending, you're still not that thing, and it's okay. In mediumship, especially if you're a medium watching this, my spirit guides have always just said, you know, shut the fuck up and just listen. You don't have to be confident, you have to just be quiet and listen. But if you're doing like a performance or doing something else where maybe you do need to embody some confidence, something that Spirit told me this morning is, again, you don't have to try to be something that you're not, but you can be courageous in doing it. You can be courageous in walking forward anyways, doing it scared, doing it insecure. And that awakens that solar plexus, that willpower, and that's where our confidence is anyways. Confidence is really just self-trust. It's having a strong foundation to walk on where you feel like, okay, I know that I'm gonna do it well and I'm not gonna fail. That's trust. Confidence is birthed from the seed of trust. And this is why insecurity is actually a wonderful teacher for us, because if you think of insecurity or security as a floor, like your living room floor, if there are cracks and crevices where spiders can crawl through, where you can like fall through the freaking floor, for your own safety, you have to be alerted of that, right? The insecurity comes up and says, hey, Alex, like there's a hole in your floor, like we need to fix this. And that may show up as, hey girl, you're not gonna do good today in this mediumship reading. And then I have to actively respond to this thought and say, I have this thought that I'm not gonna do good, but instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna respond to my ego and I'm gonna say, no, we are gonna do good. We're gonna do it anyways. And then you do it and you have that courage, you embody that courage, and then you do the fucking reading and you'll find that you did fine. A lot of the times we're so scared for nothing because we're so far out of our energy, we're so far out of our body. A lot of us are 10 light years ahead, thinking of the worst possible outcomes. We're jumping to conclusions, we're envisioning the worst case scenario. We're never present. And this is why we have mal-expression of the emotional experience. And this is why we have a lot of insecurities, because maybe we're not listening. We're not listening to the teacher of the body. Your body literally wants the best for you. You think your body wants to have insecurity so that you have a bad experience? No, your body, the intelligence of it wants you to have a good experience. So it brings up things that are faulty, things that are feeble in the floor that you're standing on so that you can go and fix it. It's literally an opportunity for you to heal. You can think of your ego, your limited beliefs, so to speak, as a child. Let's say you wake up in the morning and the thought, the belief, right? The child, the mind says to you, we suck. I suck. Whatever that thought is. I'm ugly. I suck. I'm poor. I'm whatever, right? Think of your limiting beliefs. Apply it here right now. Let's just use I'm ugly. I'm ugly. Your body is then prompting you to respond to it. Because remember, you're the conductor, you are in charge, you are the authority, you're the captain of the ship. So if the ship says, hey, we're ugly, hey, the boat is sinking, what I have to do as the captain, I have to say, oh, let me go fucking fix that shit because I don't like how that feels. I don't want to drown today in my insecurities. You go and you fix it. So if my thought is, I'm ugly, I have to respond and say, oh, I know that we feel ugly, but we're not ugly. And then you restate your truth, because when you restate your truth, you re-empower, you restabilize, you revitalize. This is why retrograde season is so good for you, because it helps you to remember who you are. So for those of you who know me, you know that I've been practicing trance mediumship. I've been sitting for trance mediumship for about 3 years, just kind of in my room, meditating for trance and just on my own having experiences, and then having experiences with teachers and big classes. And I actually sat in my room, this was almost a year ago, when I sat in my spirit room and I was feeling heavily insecure. Like last year, I was not able to deal with my insecurities. They were debilitating. I was paralyzed in them and I wasn't able to show up and be confident. Like it was actually a very depressing experience for me, just being in my own lack, because I didn't know how to commune with my body. You can have lack. Even think of like the most confident people, the most famous people, they have lack. They have insecurities just like you and I. It's no different. The only difference is that they commune with their body. People who can still show up and still be in their power, they are actively being present with the self. And so that's what we have to do. And before a year ago, when I didn't get that, it didn't click for me, I had a very bad relationship with insecurities, and it fucked me up a lot. And I was very depressed that whole year. So I actually, in a space of desperation, I sat in a trance connection and I asked my spirit guide to come forward. We have a healing guide. Everyone has like their own healing guide. And my healing guide, her name is Lily. And it's funny because she showed me her name. I'll go into like what she said, but on my way to Dallas, where I live now, I was meditating in the car and I was doing a trance meditation wanting to meet my healing guide. And she stepped forward with this very bright yellow aura. And so I knew that she was female. And in my meditation, she had said to me, my name is Lily. And so I was like, cool. I got out of the meditation. I felt confident about it. I felt really good about it. And as we're pulling into Dallas, we were going to stop at a gas station and there was this building to the right-hand side and the building was named Lily. I fucking kid you not. So that was like affirmation for me and confirmation that her name really is Lily, because it was right after I got out of this meditation where she told me her name. And in this meditation, I asked her to talk to me about insecurities, anything I needed to know about insecurities and its influence on us, on our beliefs as humans. And so I feel like this message that I channeled, I was typing as I was hearing her in this, like I was literally meditating and eyes closed, like typing as fast as I could because she was typing through me. And I didn't know what it said until I read it after. That's what happens in a trance meditation. You don't really know what's coming through until you see your notes afterward. That's why in a trance, you normally have somebody recording what you're saying because you have a tendency to forget when you're in that deep state of conscious awareness. And so I was channeling through my laptop here and I have what she wrote and I'm gonna read it to you here. She says, insecurity is much deeper than our perceived flaws, right? So like deeper than I'm ugly, I'm not talented, I'm not good enough. It's way deeper than that. And insecurity is the emotional response to an awakening. Like I said, think about that floor you're standing on. The insecurities, it awakens something to alert you that there is an issue, a problem area that needs healing. It's an emotional response to an awakening, because feeling insecure, it is an emotion, it's a feeling. It's the opportunity for the whole mind, body, spirit to move into higher will and self-understanding. Insecurity is an opportunity to invite alchemy into hardened spaces. Hard spaces meaning like where we have a lot of resistance, where I have a shield, where I have a wound maybe. A lot of our insecurities come from our wounds, from our childhood, from our parents, you know, whatever they say to us that shaped us to believe like that's the perception of who we are, etc., etc. It's an uncomfortable experience that can also be scary for many people, not only because it's untouched territory, but more so that it invites you to take accountability for your own energetic influence and nurturing. Insecurity is a call for responsibility and accountability over the nature of your body, choices, and responses. Insecurity is the root of an awakening. Think of it like, if you know the tarot, insecurity is like the tower card. The tower is like, it's like an explosion of the floor. The foundation that you've been standing on, maybe you make choices based off your insecurities. Maybe you make decisions and life choices off of fear, off of insecurity, off of doubt, off of lack. If you're doing that, babe, that's tower moment. This is where the insecurity comes and it tears down all of those faulty foundations because it's not serving you. Insecurity is here to help you mend those wounds. It's like a balm that comes and soothes over so that you can create new floor, new ground, new seed. To feel insecure means that you've built a story around a situation that has maybe triggered you or triggered an internal wound or touched you in a very tender spot. And it's also an indicator of an attachment to your egoic validation. This is my personal channeled message from my spirit guide. I'm just sharing it with you. This is not going to resonate with everybody because it was specifically channeled for me and what I was going through. I heavily relied on people telling me that I'm doing a good job, my clients telling me, oh my gosh, this resonates, you changed my life, right? Like getting that validation. So some of this is very personal to me and I'm sharing it anyways just because I know some people can relate to it. But if you can resonate, definitely take the guidance. Insecurity is an indicator of an attachment to egoic validation, which is what I heavily had. If we are relying solely on outside sources, people, audience, friends, family to clap for us, when we've done something good or when we have an accomplishment, and then when we don't get that praise outwardly, we embody a victim consciousness that keeps us in this loop of insecurity and offense too. If we only perceive life through this insecure lens, then you're bound to take everything offensively as well, taking everything personal. And that's one of the issues that I had for like almost my whole life, and I'm still kind of working through it now, is I take a lot of things very personal. If I do a reading and I do a bad job, it like hits me to my core. I take it very, very, very personal, which is, we're not supposed to do that. Like, I'm aware of that and I own it. So it's already being healed. It's already being soothed over, but it's a process of unfolding. It's a process of undoing programming. It's not like hit it and quit it overnight, you're like a healed bitch. Like, no, you take years and years of actively working towards your goal and working towards that healing so that you can change it. If you see life as a victim, through your victim consciousness, through your insecurity, through needing that egoic validation, through needing people to praise you or to see you, like even if you're somebody that feels very misunderstood, like this even comes up for me like with family that's very religious. Like my in-laws are super religious, and for a long time they did not agree with my mediumship. They didn't agree with me reading tarot cards. It was very uncomfortable for me. So when people don't understand you and they reject you, you might even reject yourself, and that might show up as a pattern, right? And you're taking it offensively and internalizing people's beliefs about you and then becoming a victim within that. And when we embody that victim consciousness, everything and anything that people say or do, you're going to see it as a personal attack. So that was the message that Lily gave to me, and I really needed it because I'm definitely the type of person that takes everything personal, and I overly attach myself to wanting to help people grow and shift, and I want people to understand my beliefs, and I'm working through that right now. And I can say like I own it. I'm a real bitch. I'm never gonna sit here and pretend like I'm perfect and pretend like I have it all together, because I really don't. And if you watch my TikTok lives and my Instagram lives, I am very open and transparent about the things that I'm working on. And I feel like if we can all just kind of get to this space of like owning your shit, your life will literally and drastically change because you're for yourself. You're paying attention to what you're holding on to. Insecurities can also show up in moments where spirit, your soul is asking you to elevate. When you're growing, when something big is coming for you, a huge shift, an opportunity, a lot of the times insecurities will come up where you'll see other people in your same field of talent or work, career, or even in relationships, like people having babies, people getting married, people having these beautiful romantic relationships, people having their own businesses. You see them being successful in whatever way that you're wanting to up level. Jealousy can come forward and it can bring through feelings of insecurity, like, oh, why don't I have that thing yet? Why don't I have that same level of success as my colleague? A lot of the times, like, you'll see people in your same field, like, having lots of followers, having lots of clients, they're booked till the end of the year, and you think to yourself, well, why don't I have that? Or I'm not good enough, or I don't have this, I don't have enough followers, all these limiting beliefs start to come up for you. And really what you're being called to do is to see that that person is your mirror. If you have somebody in your energy field and your circle that is successful, they have their own business, they have lots of clients, they have fame, recognition, whatever it is, they have money, and you're seeing that, that means that you're this much closer. They are your mirror, they are showing you your potential. The same way that people are the mirror for us when we have shit that we need to heal, right? People are your mirror. People piss you off and irritate you, they bother you, is because your body is resonating with some sort of a truth that they also have. And so you're needing to heal that and see a little bit of yourself in them and see what needs to be healed. Same thing with people who are successful that have what you want. If you can see it, it's possible for you. The potential's already there. It means that you're moving in that direction. So we need to learn how to, in these instances, turn insecurity into inspiration. It's just a simple shift, right? Sometimes we get very jealous because we don't have something. But you can look at it a different way, like, oh shit, like the universe is showing me, like, this is what's here for me too. The potential's there for you too. Insecurity is your friend. Insecurity helps you to reconsider your truth and your beliefs about yourself so that you can reroute them. Insecurity is actually very healthy, and it's our responsibility to see the light of that, just like it's our responsibility to see the light of anger, which gives us our voice, our power, our courage. There's so many things that our emotions carry that are there to teach us, to help us grow, giving us little gems of wisdom and guidance, that if we can actually take a moment to see that these things are not so scary to feel, we'll find that it gives us the opportunity to give more value and quality to our true beliefs about ourselves, and we can reinstill new seeds, planting new seeds of courage, of abundance, of self-trust, so that when we have these insecurities coming up, we know how to handle them. We know how to bond with it in a way that is actively teaching our body how to show up differently, how to show up more secure. When you are insecure, a lot of the times this is also needing to coddle the nervous system. Maybe you're not feeling safe in some way. Insecurities are rooted from so many different things that a lot of the times it's not just, oh, I'm ugly today. Like, a lot of the times it's like you have sexual trauma or body trauma, and that shows up in intimacy, right? Insecurities are so much deeper. A lot of the times it comes from your nervous system trying to protect you. And so this is why we have to be very tender and gentle with our insecurities, because it's not there to hurt and harm you. This is the powerful thing about our ego and our existence, is that it gives us the opportunity to question things. To question something means that you are given the opportunity to make adjustments, to change things. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is cemented, not even our truth. That can always change. And if you give yourself permission to change those truths, you become a malleable, flexible person that is more easy to be in the flow, to be receptive, and to also like roll with the punches. It becomes easier to exist. A lot of people's truths are rooted in insecurity and lack, rooted in poverty, rooted in abuse, rooted in neglect. A lot of our beliefs and our truths about ourselves and about the way that we show up in the world is cultivated in childhood. A lot of us didn't grow up in a perfect family house with a father, with a mother, with nice parents, with food on the table, with, shoes and a nice bed to sleep in. A lot of us didn't grow up with that. Some of you grew up in a broken home, and that's where your truth is rooted in. And so if you grow up no longer believing in those same principles, then you have to give yourself permission to change it. And that's why insecurities come up, to make you question, do I still believe in this thing? Do I still believe that I have to suffer first to receive a blessing, right? It's like we have all of these different beliefs around money, around existing, around worth, and you have the opportunity to give those things value, because you're the captain of the ship. You're in charge. So give yourself that power back. And remember that when you feel ugly, when you feel low, all you gotta do is fuck with her. Like, okay, you can be my friend, you can sit with me, and you show her that love, and it changes right then and there. Just be courageous. So before we end, I have a little journal prompt for you if you wanna journal, if you're like sitting on your couch or you're really comfy listening. Here are some things to write down for yourself after this. Question number 1 is, what came up for you? What insecurities came up for you? What moments in time where you were triggered came up for you? Number 2, when was the last time you felt insecure? Describe the situation, your feelings, and your reaction. Number 3, when was the last time you took something personal? How did you feel and how did you react? Number 4, the last question is, what do you do when you find yourself in lower rooted emotions like sadness, anger, irritation, insecurity? Do you hide and stay away from others and not post on social media? Or do you find the comfort of being around healthy friends and family? What do you do? So I hope this helped you guys, and I can't wait to see you next week. Have a good day.